Today we're going over the new September seasonal banner in Fire Emblem Heroes. The Fates Elemental Tribe theme is out, and Arena Gladiators are in. The Arena is a classic Fire Emblem feature where you can gamble for unit EXP and money, although it hasn't really been around in modern games. For this banner, you can get Gladiator ults for Chulainn, Masked Marth, Chrom, and a harmonic mother-daughter duo of Fir and Karla. We'll discuss everyone's stats and skills, plus discuss some general playstyle and build ideas. The first to focus unit is going to be Chulainn. You can get him at 4 or 5 star rarity. Good year for Chulainn fans since he also just got into Fate earlier this year. This time he's going to be an Axe Infantry unit. For stats, Chulainn has 43 HP, 46 attack, 48 speed, 39 defense, and 27 res. He has speed and res super boons. Pretty similar to his heroic rail form. For old skills, Chulainn has Luna and then spices things up with times pulse 3, which is always great to have. He then has the even rarer attack and speed spiked wall, offering bulwark, true damage, flat DR, and no guard. Chulainn's inheritable weapon is the Arena X Plus, 14 might, every turn and after acting, inflict -7 speed and defense, speed shackle, and defense shackle onto the closest foes and foes within 2 spaces. If unit initiates combat or is near an ally, gain +5 total stats, and deal true damage and gain flat damage reduction equal to 20% speed. The flat DR is only going to work against first attacks, but an S. For the most part, Arena X is quite good for an inheritable. 20% speed, true damage, and flat DR is excellent. You can then try to make up the stat difference with speed and defense debuffing plus shackle statuses. We just got the Shackle B skills, and this weapon has the same debuffing portion. Shackle inflicts -4 at base, and then for every negative status, you can get more debuffs up to -8 at 4 statuses. Since this weapon inflicts 2 Shackle statuses, you get -6 speed and defense on top the -7 debuffs. We're going to focus on combat for Chulainn, but Arena Axe is a decent support weapon to build around. Since it triggers after acting, you should be able to inflict debuffs mid-phase, which can get around penalty cleansing abilities. You can also use this on a Dancer, I believe, unlike the previous Tea-Time weapons. We have a new support B skill on this banner that could pair well with this Arena X Plus. Solid heritable all around. For playstyle, Chulainn has a ton of options being a speedy infantry unit. You can make a very basic initiation setup with spiked walls, no guard, and times pulse. That brings Luna to 2 cooldown, and if Chulainn doubles and tanks a counterattack, he will trigger the special on the second hit. To get into range, you can use a Tempest Sacred Seal or Assault Troop for charge. For a premium version of this, Brutal Tempest would give Kanto, and then you can move times pulse to the Sacred Seal slot. As a fast unit, Chulainn would want no follow-up, so perfect attack and speed or the Sacred Seal would be good. For better protection, Gust would be the best special for percent DR, although Chulainn won't guarantee to charge it. You at least will get double flat DR skills with Arena Axe and Spiked Wall. Maybe add Excel if you're really committing to the player phase. For another build, Chulainn will do fine with the Arcane Giant Axe. Arena Axe doesn't inflict Shackle debuffs, but Giant Axe just gives more consistent bonus stats. With the Slaying effect, you can run either Arch Rival or Gust builds. Arch Rival will be better if you want the 40% DR guaranteed since it has no activation conditions and it just works on brave hits. You can pair this with distant counter skills, then they'll see a Void for extra flat DR and being able to counter sweep effects. With Faith, you can get attack and speed buffs, bulwark, and -1 cooldown before getting hit. If Chulainn gets hit once then doubles back, you can proc Arch Rival on the follow-up. Ideally, this setup would want no guard and no follow-up, so we are missing a few things here. For an extra twist, try to get -1 cooldown from say times pulse as a seal or echo or just any ally. Slaying Arch Rival would be on 3 cooldown. If you initiate on a blue foe, then Giant Axe plus Arch Rival would get -2 instant cooldown, big old special proc immediately. There are many other skills Chulainn can run. For DR Piercing, you can use Hex Edge, Terrified No Follow-Up, or Tempo Echo. Finish will be fine for lower cooldown builds. For example, you can run Arena Axe, Gust, Lagu's Loyalty, and then Faith. That will charge Gust before getting hit. You can also just use Giant Axe plus Lagu's Loyalty with Godlike Reflexes. For more aggression, Potent Finish is fun. Any of the Tempest variants can work as well for movement, Burst, Pulse, Brutal, or even Assault Rush. Overall, Gladiator Chulainn is a fine 4-star focus unit. We generally aren't short on non-5-star Axe Infantry, but usually they aren't built for speed. Cool inheritable weapon, very nice fodder as well. Our first 5-star Gladiator is Masked Marth. He was partnered up with Harmonic Fir, but this will be Masked Marth's first actual ult. Because they don't exist in the actual games, we're just getting spammed with fast-land infantries on seasonal banners. Marth's gonna have 40 HP, 46 attack, 49 speed, 38 defense, and 31 res. Brave Churainn finally broke through that 49 base speed tiers, so the floodgates are now open. Marth has a speed super boon, and how long before we see 50 base speed? For old skills, Marth's got Gust and Perfect Attack and Speed, which is the new hot combo for faster infantry. Marth's weapon will be the Disguise Lance. If a rally or movement assist is used by unit or target's unit, inflict -7 speed and defense, sabotage, and panic onto the closest foe and foes within 2 spaces. This is a slaying weapon, and if above 25% health, Marth can get +14 to all stats if you have 3 allies within 3 rows or columns. If Future Witness is active, or Marth outspeeds, he gets brave attacks. Marth gets true damage equal to X times 5, and flat DR equal to X times 3. Double the flat DR against enemy specials. This X value will be the number of positive stats effects on Marth or the enemy in the fight. If there are 5 of those, he will get 25 true damage and 15 Excel type flat DR. First off, Marth needs to be part of or use their assist to inflict debuffs. Marth has the nasty Sabotage plus Panic combo, and inflicting these mid-phase is a great ability. For combat, stack statuses for more true damage and flat DR. Marth will sneak in brave attacks. You can either outspeed or have Future Witness. You can get that status via Marth's unique assist skill, Future Gaze. Marth and their allies swap spaces. You then grant Future Witness, Dodge, and Foe Penalty Delver to all allies within 2 spaces of Marth and their target. In addition, those allies get -1 cooldown, and Marth gets an extra action. Masked Marth coincidentally has an updated version of Dual Lucina's Future Focus Assist. This Future Witness status is super good since it grants Conto 2, +5 stats, 7 flat DR, and then Scowl when initiating. You then have Foe Penalty Delver, which stacks with Sabotage, and Panic Field Bust work for both effects. Future Gaze is also going to be a way to give the entire team free cooldown without fighting. The cooldown perks work once per turn, but affects multiple units. Marth will then get to move again. For his new inheritable B skill, Marth brings attack and speed favor, which I keep talking about, so let's finally cover why. If a rally or movement assist is used by or targets unit, grant +6 attack and speed, empathy, and 50% DR piercing to the unit and ally. They also get -1 cooldown. For any ally on the map with empathy, this skill will give them 7 true damage in combat. For the user, they inflict -4 speed, defense, and res in combat. They deal 7 true damage as well, and then extra true damage equal to the highest total attack plus speed field boost among the user or allies with empathy. Favor can be inherited by everyone except healers, and it builds out of attack and speed link 3. Favor is pretty much a successor to link 4 skills, though you do lose Conto. In exchange, this skill offers empathy for more stats and DR piercing. Favor then borrows from the Elysians by also granting free cooldown without fighting. Unlike Future Gaze, Favor only gives cooldown to the user and 1 ally. Similar to the Detect skills, the ally with Empathy will get bonus true damage. Similar to the Link 4 skills, the user gets true damage based on the attack and speed field buff total they handed out. +6 attack and speed equals to 12 total. Add that to the base 7 for 19 true damage, just like that. Favor is going to be pretty interesting, but requires an action to activate. There is Emblem Makai's Ring, plus we just got new T-Timer units and weapons with extra actions baked in after assisting. For example, with just the Teapot Tome or Serving Knife Sword inheritables, along with Favor, you could basically get 40-ish true damage, along with DR Piercing, Bread type cooldown, -1 cooldown, and a ton of stats. Favor probably won't be the go-to for every single build, but it certainly is a good support option in that B slot. For playstyle, Masked Marth wants to use Future Gaze. With Favor, they're going to apply 7 statuses, AoE -1 cooldown, and then Marth and his swapping ally get -2 cooldown. Marth will pre-charge Gust and get brave attacks. Perfect attack and speed provides no follow-up for quadding, and you get 50% DR piercing plus over 40 true damage via Disguise Lance in Favor. Defensively, you got Gust's unpierceable 40% DR, the Dodge status is regular 40% DR, multiple flat DR sources, and then Scowl via Future Witness if you're initiating. After combat, Marth can also retreat with Conto 2. For C skills, any of the Tempest variants for 3 movement will be great. Brutal technically can give Conto 4, Endless can low field bust, but we already have Panic. Pulse Tempest could be good for high cooldown specials like Arch Rival, but thanks to Brave attacks, Marth can definitely recharge Gust on their own if quadding. You would ideally want no guard for that though, so Tempo is a nice Sacred Seal. Going back to Arch Rival, with Slaying, Future Gaze, and Favor, Marth can get it to 2 cooldown. If you fight a red foe, you instantly proc it. You would need another cooldown perk in battle, but double Arch Rival procs are definitely possible with a quad attack. For other skills, Marth can swap no follow-up around, and same for distant counter skills. You could use Haze Slice and Excel for more flat DR if you really want to survive initiations. Potent Finish is great for damage, No Sea of Void's good for distant counter builds, and Speed Taker's alright, but I don't think you want to replace Favor. Overall though, Gladiator Marth is very solid. They offer a ton of support, just need a little bit of mobility to take advantage of all the buffs. If you want an arch rival user, definitely one of the better ones since you get so much free cooldown. Our third banner unit is Gladiator Chrom. He's a colorless infantry archer with 40 HP, 49 attack, 43 speed, 49 defense, and 18 res. Chrom has an attack super boon and very high defense too. He doesn't have the best defensive plan this time, but Chrom is cranking out a ton of damage. For old skills, Chrom's got Blazing Wind for AoE. He also has Sly Sturdy Blow, which isn't the best for AoE skills, but it does add 5 true damage, so it's a fine option. That skill also gives a bunch of defense in combat and a free follow-up. The Gladiator Bow is similar to Master Marth's weapon. After assisting, an ally inflict -7 attack and defense, exposure, discord, and the anti-miracle status onto the closest foe and foes nearby. Chrom has a sling bow, but no armor effectiveness this time. If he initiates combat, Chrom will get Desperation to follow up immediately. In combat, Chrom gets +5 stats, more stats based on 10% flat defense, and then +2 stats for every status active on him. This is uncapped. Chrom will then neutralize attack and defense field buffs on the enemy. He can deal up to 25 true damage if there are 5 positive statuses on Chrom or the enemy in the fight. I mentioned previously that I'm pretty sure Brave Male Robin's Refine was intended to be used with this Chrom. Robin inflicts speed and res debuffs and sabotage, perfect pairing with Chrom's attack and defense debuffs, and Robin brings Frozen. Gladiator Chrom isn't actually that slow, but he can use his excellent defense to abuse Frozen speed real further. Now for other effects, Chrom's got Anti-Miracle plus Desperation to go for the kill. He stacks true damage with statuses and has uncapped bonus stats for every active status, including negative ones. This was from Brave Chrom. To stack statuses, Chrom's got his unique Conquering Fate assist skill. Like other ults, this is a reposition with an extra action, although Chrom will self-inflict isolation still. New effect, Chrom grants Change of Fate and -1 cooldown to himself and his ally. Unlike Brave Chrom, who only takes statuses from his ally, Gladiator Chrom and his ally will share all statuses between them. How nice. Now, for his new Change of Fate status, like Future Witness, this grants Conto 2 and +5 stats. Instead of defensive perks, Change of Fate can grant 15 true damage if you have 5 positive statuses active. This true damage will also apply to AoE specials. Interestingly, Change of Fate's true damage is kinda what Brave Chrom's Refine was, and obviously the status sharing reposition is also from that ult. We then go back to Duo Chrom to get the -1 cooldown between himself and his ally. Unlike Master Marth or Duo Lucina, Chrom doesn't give AoE cooldown, it's still a strong effect though. Chrom will bring attack and defense favor. Just like Marth, he will trigger all its effects when using his assist. This variant is pretty much the exact same. You swap all the speed buffs for defense, and then in combat you get -4 attack instead. Chrom will also bring along Time Pulse arms. This is going to be the Times Pulse 4 upgrade for bonus attack and defense. You get the same Times Pulse 4 effects with -1 cooldown when you are at max cooldown count. In battle, you can get bonus attack and defense based on your max cooldown value. For Chrom slaying Blazing Wind, it's on 3 cooldown. 3 + 2 = 5 attack and defense in combat. Gladiator Chrom basically shares the same game plan as Master Marth initially. You want to use Conquering Fate to proc all the buffs from Chrom's weapon, assist skill, and favor. Each turn, Chrom will put Blazing Wind on 2 cooldown thanks to Times Pulse. After assisting, he'll get another -2 cooldown, so you can now initiate with the AoE. In combat, you got Desperation for 2 taps. Sly Sturdy Blow can give a follow-up to use for that. Along with a ton of attack and defense, Chrom also just gets a ton of true damage. Between Gladiator Bow, Change of Fate, and Favor, you can get 59 true damage. Sly Sturdy Blow adds another 5, Exposure's another 10. Take note, only Change of Fate's 15 true damage and Exposure's 10 true damage will work on the AoE special. Chrom only gets Anti-Miracle, so he still has to deal with instant healing. You could bring Fatal Smoke, but there are many effects that reduce Deep Wounds' effectiveness. Now defensively, Chrom's got a lot of defense, but he doesn't have any % DR nor flat DR. I wouldn't call him a glass cannon except against magic, but it should be noted that this Chrom is a little more vulnerable. He's very focused on pure damage. If you wanted to change that, or maybe AoEs aren't your thing, Chrom could use Curved Shot or Arch Rival. He will not be getting any of Arch Rival's cooldown effects, but the 40% DR always works, and Chrom has very high attack with lots of cooldown. It could make him a dangerous unit if, say, you wanted to mess around with Close Counter or just a mixed phase build. Now for other skills, you could precharge Deadeye. Arc Forth the Bread could give full DR piercing to Arch Rival. Low Finish and the Tier Final Follow-Up could be used, but like Marth, I think this Chrom is so good with Favor, you really want to use the assist before fighting anyway. Since Chrom can't get 3 movement, you could run Infantry No Follow 4 for Warping. If you want more AoE damage, you could also use Solid Ground or Attack and Defense Finish for 5 true damage in combat. Gladiator Chrom is going for a very high damage setup, but might run into some issues if attacked first. If the foe has the anti-AoE status often, then you may also want to swap course to another special. Like with Brave Chrom, you could try to get as many statuses as possible. Every single status is another +2 stats, although you only need 5 of them to max out the true damage effects here. Last unit for today is Harmonic Fir and Karla, another mother-daughter duo from different times. Fir is going to be a Sword Cavalier this time. She has 40 HP, 46 attack, 49 speed, 35 defense, and 25 res. She will have speed and res super boons. For ult skill, Fir has the Holy Cavalier trio, Blue Skies, Potent Assault, and Attack and Speed Outcry Dull, triple true damage skills plus Potent and Kanto. Fir can also help buff up the team. For their weapons, Princess's Edge, this has the same speed and defense shackle debuffs as Collins' Axe. There is also one more addition, and that is a Discord status. For Fir, every turn she gets -2 cooldown and has Sling. If initiating or near an ally, Fir can get +14 to all stats if 3 allies are within 3 rows or columns. She deals true damage equal to 3 times the number of statuses on the main target and foes within 2 spaces. Fir gets 20% speed as flat DR, full no follow-up effects, and breath type cooldown effects. First off, Fir adds more damage and speed advantages on top Outcry Dull. She gets 3 cooldown effects, which is great for a Cavalier, and then no follow-up to double slower foes. Underlined, Fir's true damage effect is the same as Young Camilla or Hresvelgr. This is one of the reasons Camilla is so dangerous because it counts every status in the area, good or bad. With this weapon, you inflict 3 statuses. If there are 3 foes around the main target, you would have 3 statuses times 4 units for 12 total. 12 times 3 is 36 true damage. This effect can scale super hard because it counts the enemy's own positive statuses, and you can add more penalties yourself. If you cannot spread out or cleanse the statuses, then this effect is super nasty. Fir will be introducing a new inheritable special, Gale Force Mist. Still 5 cooldown and still grants an extra action after combat. The new add-on is that it gives 40% damage reduction for all attacks when you initiate. Similar to Haze Slice, Gale Force Mist is all about guaranteed percent DR on all hits. If you don't need extra damage, Gale Force Mist is another option, although this special is quite limited. Like usual, it works on melee units minus dragons, but this is a cavalry and flyer only upgrade. Poor Edelgard is locked out entirely. Do note, with all the instant cooldown effects nowadays, a lot of them specify they only work for offensive specials. This applies to things like Rally Spectrum or Momentum. The current arcane weapons should still give -1 cooldown to Gale Force, so that's nice. Just be a bit wary before you start skew inheriting. Fir and Karla's Harmonize skill is tailor-made for the new Gale Force. First off, it grants Resonance Blades and -2 cooldown to all units from Binding or Blazing Blade. Next, new mechanic. Any effect that can be triggered only once per turn by a special can now be triggered again. Essentially, Fir's Harmonize skill reactivates Gale Force for a second use in the same turn. You will need to trigger Gale Force, then use this skill for it to work. The idea is that Fir is going to set up with the same -2 cooldown like her weapon. As an option, you can use this skill immediately to pre-charge the slain Gale Force. If you're worried Fir is not going to charge your special, then that's a use case, but this is a one-time only deal, so choose carefully. Harmonic Fir and Karla are here to do 2 things, stack a bajillion amounts of true damage and activate Gale Force to do it again, or maybe 3 times. You want to try to bring more negative status debuffers, but ultimately the enemy's positioning will determine how much true damage Fir ends up getting. If they're spread out 3 spaces, then Fir will be much less scarier. Like with any offensive unit, Elm Erica or some kind of brave attack support will be appreciated. Another concern for Fir is surviving counterattacks. Fir may have 40% DR guaranteed, but is that enough? Her weapon in Blue Skies adds more flat DR, but you gotta tank a counter if you want to get to a follow-up attack or the potent hit. Now, since Fir has no follow-up and should be quite fast, you could sacrifice some damage for Desperation 4 or a sweep skill. Another alternative is to swap to Miracle as a special. Fir will start with any of 5 cooldown special on 2 cooldown every turn. She has breath type cooldown to get the remaining cooldown on her first attack. However, Fir does not have no guard. She potentially could get stalled if the enemy has defensive tempo and guard. In terms of damage, you can't really beat the base kit here. 3 true damage skills plus potent, 50% DR piercing, and attack and speed buffing with low. You could try Excel for better flat damage reduction or float guard for scowl, but that is going to take away from Fir's damage output. If you wanted something different, you could use Flared Sparrow for flame tiles, or Momentum plus First Weapon would allow for easy AoE special activations. Outcry Dull is tough to beat, but you could also run Fatal Smoke here if you really want to ensure a KO. For Sacred Seals, Attack and Speed Clash is fine, or you could run Squad Ace or Guard for insurance. Desperation 3 can be nice since Fir isn't exactly healing after her fights. Now for attuned to X skills, Low would be good, but Fir already has Outcry Dull. Not a ton of other crazy things besides Death Blow or Sly Echo for a little more damage, or Mercy Wing Echo to fly in and surprise attack someone. When it comes to other specials, Fir's in a good spot to run anything really. She can pre-charge 3 cooldown specials every single turn, and AoEs are just 1 cooldown from being ready too. You could get double haze slice procs if you want, or you could go for Arch Rival. Like Marth and Chrom, Fir also can ready Arch Rival immediately if you face a green foe. Overall, Harmonic Fir can be very scary, but it's very dependent on enemy positioning and how many statuses are actually in play. She can trigger Gale Force twice in 1 turn, but will Fir be able to tank hits to fight that often if she can't outright one-shot her enemies? Couple of things to consider, but regardless, Fir will be quite formidable in the right situations. That's all I have for this video. The Gladiator banner is a fun theme, and we have some new nice units to kick off the Gen 10 for seasonal ults. Speaking of, next time I'll be talking about the Tempest Trials. Gladiator Ogma will be up for grabs, and he indeed comes with a sword version of Khan's weapon. We'll talk about Ogma more next time. Thank you for watching, good luck with your summons, and I will see you in the next video.